Just 7 weeks after suffering relegation to Division 4, Laois hoping to put league form behind them at a blustery O'Moore Park. Visitors Longford arrived hoping to prove their performances not just reserved for the qualifiers. Playing with the aid of a stiff breeze, Laois were quickly into their stride. Evan O'Carroll's searching ball, great vision from Donny Kingston. Niall Donoghue the beneficiary with just a minute on the clock. O'Carroll himself then added this quick-fire second from long range. That followed by scores from the Kingstons Paul and Donny as Peter Creedon's men eased 4 points to the good inside as many minutes. Longford needed to respond, and it was Robbie Smith at the other end doing his utmost to stem the tide. After pointing 2 frees, he was picked out by Diarmuid Masterson, turned and found the target. 18 minutes into a frantic encounter and trailing 9 points to 3, Longford were to enjoy their most profitable period of the game, reeling off 4 points without reply. 3 coming from the excellent Smith. The other here from Shawnee McCormack. And against the wind, Longford had reduced the deficit to just 2 points. The final moments of the half were to bring incident aplenty. Firstly, Barry McKeown gathered a wayward effort from John Keegan to fire over, only to see the point waved wide by the umpire. Further consultation between a number of officials saw the decision stand. And with Longford still arguing the finer points of that, Laois were to strike for goal twice at the other end. Firstly through Paul Kingston, who stepped neatly inside before guiding the ball to the net. And then, less than a minute later, Evan O'Carroll linked superbly with Donny Kingston, the latter producing the coolest of finishes. Laois 2-10, Longford 7 points at the break. Longford needed to hit the ground running at the start of the second half, but it was Laois who did, with the Kingstons again to the fore. Both involved here before Darren Strong unselfishly picked out the run of Alan Farrell, who slotted past Paddy Cullum. And soon after, another excellent team goal. At the end of it, it was Kingston to Kingston, as Laois cut through a porous Longford defence. That, the score that opened up a 15-point lead. The last 2 championship meetings of these two were each decided by a single point, but this was far more one-sided. Robbie Smith's one-man show a rare plus on the day for Longford. He ended the day contributing 11 of their 16 points. But Laois were never threatened in the second period. Darren Strong with this point, becoming their 11th different scorer on a day when their only downside was an injury to their captain Stephen Atroyd. John O'Loughlin set the seal on an impressive win with his third of the day in stoppage time. 4-15 to 16 points it ended. Kildare will have taken note.
Well, I suppose, look, the league was very, very poor on our behalf, but you know, championship, we had got a few players back from injury, and I thought we played quite well today. And the second goal, probably after half time, really put a big dampener on Longford's chances. So, you know, fair play to our players. They had to be mentally strong today to get over maybe disappointment in the league, and they did that.
It's all about goals today. We scored 16 points ourselves. We would have been quite happy coming here to score 16 points. But the goals and the little space before half-time and after half-time, I think it really it added up to 3 minutes of play, and we conceded 4 goals in that, and that is football and suicide, I suppose, really. And that's what killed us off, and it's no way back after that. We just handed the game to Laois in that time, and it's disappointing for us, and it's disappointing for our players.
Louth's graph has been on an upward curve under Colin Kelly in recent times. Back-to-back promotions to Division 2 has fuelled confidence. And so they were warm favourites against a Wicklow side that recorded just 1 win in Division 4 of the league. And the match seemed to be going to script when Rory Moore steered over the first point of the afternoon for the wee county. And it got better for Louth in the 11th minute. Anthony Williams set up the impressive Owen O'Connor for a goal. 1-2 to a point in favour of Louth. Louth lost Williams to a black card shortly after, and they were dealt another blow. Keeper Craig Lynch's kick-out was loose, and Mark Kenny finished brilliantly. Wicklow leading by a point, 1-3 to 1-2. Wicklow, without a championship win since 2013, had another chance of a goal when Darren Hayden surged forward. Lynch, though, redeemed himself with a splendid tip-over. Louth hit 4 unanswered points after that. Owen O'Connor nudged them into a 1-7 to 1-5 lead. Wicklow's preparations for this game were far from ideal after Ross O'Brien and Jamie Snell withdrew from the panel during the week. A double blow for Wicklow. And approaching half-time, they were under the cosh as Louth hit the last 4 points, including this gem from Porrick Smith to lead 1-11 to 1-7 at the interval. One might have thought that Wicklow's challenge would fade in the second half. Not a bit of it. They outscored Louth by 5 points to 1 in the third quarter. Mark Kenny on hand to draw Johnny McGee's side level at 1-12 apiece. Louth almost nabbed a goal when Declan Byrne fed Tommy Dernan. Rob Lambert, though, made a fine save. Wicklow kept on pressing on. The experienced John McGrath came off the bench to kick a lovely point to leave Wicklow 2 points shy. But the Louth bench had an impact in the closing stages. 5 of their last 6 scores came from replacements. Declan McSorley, Declan Byrne with 2, and a brace from Jim McEnany, including this beauty. Wicklow, though, refused to bow down, and although 4 points down, they had a late chance to make it a nervy finish for Louth, but Lynch pulled off a fine save to deny John Crowe. And so Louth negotiate the first hurdle in Leinster and must now gear up for a tasty quarter-final meeting with great rivals Meath in 2 weeks' time. For Wicklow, it's the qualifier route once again, despite a gutsy showing. Full-time at Parnell Park, Louth 119, Wicklow 114.
When it went 1-12 apiece, it didn't look good. We didn't seem to be at it, but we got the result in the end, and ultimately that's what we came for. So it's 2 weeks now to prepare for the Meath match, but it wasn't good enough, and we'll have to sit down and analyse it and just see if we can improve again.
It will come. I firmly believe it. We showed today that we're well capable of beating a team who are two division above us. We just need to get more games at this time of year for it.
Carlow with home advantage at Netwatch Dr Cullen Park as they set out chasing a first Leinster Championship win since 2011. Wexford arrived having secured promotion from Division 4 this year ahead of Carlow, all under the guidance of new manager Seamus McEnany. And the favourites Wexford began well. 2 Kieran Ling frees followed by this fine score from cornerback Michael Furlong as they assumed early control, racing into a 3-point lead. Alan Kelly opened Carlow's account before Wexford suffered a major blow. Influential midfielder Daithí Waters was black carded 18 minutes in for this challenge on Brendan Murphy. They were to also lose his midfield partner Colm Keogh to injury before the break. The pacey Sean Murphy was a constant menace to the Wexford defence. 24 minutes in, he surged forward, leaving 2 Wexford men in his wake before unleashing a thunderous effort that rattled the crossbar. Goalkeeper Conor Swain gathered, but his loose clearance was picked up by Paul Broderick. And the man who amassed over 1/3 of Carlow's league total this season made no mistake as the home side closed to within a point. Ben Brosnan and Ling kept the scoreboard ticking over from frees before Carlow captain Dara Foley received from Danny Moran and found the target to make it 8 points to 7. But the teams were to head in on level terms at half-time. Ling with his 3rd free as an uninspiring first half ended 8 points apiece. A Brosnan free opened the second half scoring, but then Carlow pounced for the game's opening goal. Sean Gannon played in Danny Moran, who produced an unstoppable finish to the roof of the Wexford net. And just 4 minutes later, they almost had a second. Gary Kelly blazing over with the goal at his mercy. Carlow having to settle for the point. In a close contest, Wexford were reduced to 14 men 11 minutes into the second period when Owen Nolan was issued a second yellow card. The favourites facing into the remaining minutes a man down. But they soon put that behind them when just 2 minutes later PJ Banville, an All-Ireland semi-finalist back in 2008, got 2 bites at it and the gap was down to the minimum. The impressive Broderick and Murphy continued to show the way for Carlow. Broderick just a minute after the Banville goal on target again as his influence on proceedings continued to grow. But the 14 men of Wexford stayed in touch. Navan Rossiter picking up the breaking ball on the edge of the square to fire to the net. That tied it up, and Wexford now with momentum. Broderick was to have an eventful end to the game. Just past the hour mark, he kicked his 10th point to nudge Turlough O'Brien's charges back in front. The home side sensing the upset was on the cards. But then, just 2 minutes later, their talisman was off. The day's second recipient of a second yellow card. And no real cause for complaint with the referee's decision. In a tense and nervy finale, Carlow captain Dara Foley produced a timely score off his right-hand side to steady the home side again. And it fittingly fell to Brendan Murphy to copper fasten a famous win with a superb individual goal 3 minutes into stoppage time. Carlow's first Leinster Championship win in 6 years was to spark jubilant scenes at the final whistle. Their reward, a quarter-final joust with the Dubs in Portlaoise. Final score, Carlow 217, Wexford 213.
Fair play to Carlow. Listen, you scored 217, you deserve to win most games, and unfortunately for us, we lost our 3 midfielders in the space of 40 minutes, and it's difficult when you're coming up against probably one of the best midfielders in the country, Brendan Murphy, yeah, disappointing, very disappointed. The rest of them, I am absolutely gutted. You know, I probably have enough problems of my own for the next 4 or 5 weeks without worrying about all the problems that Fergal Kelly has, you know, but the inconsistency of the black card is unbelievable, and you know what? The worst card of all was Owen Nolan's second yellow card. Like, this is a physical game we're talking about here. It's supposed to be physical. It's probably the bit that's really annoying me is that, you know, Owen Nolan, I'd love that to be seen, like how we arrived at a second yellow card. But listen, good luck to Carlow. They played the best football today. They deserve the win.
You saw a great game of football here today. You saw what it meant to Carlow, what it meant to Wexford. You know, we matter as much as Dublin and Kerry and Tyrone and Donegal, and we want to be in the All-Ireland Championship, and we're not going to die down against Dublin, guarantee you that.
Well, those games now give us a clear picture of the quarter-final lineup in the Leinster Championship. Carlow will play Dublin on Saturday week, June the 3rd, and the following day we have Laois versus Meath and Laois versus Kildare, and then a week later Offaly play Westmeath. Well, I'm delighted to say that we're joined in studio by the man you saw a moment ago there, Carlow manager Turlough O'Brien, who I've known since he was a young fella, and no prouder Carlow man do I know. Congratulations, fantastic. To people at home, your first win in 7 years in the championship. Tell people at home what it means to Carlow.
It was a massive win for Carlow here today. Like, you know, we've been in a famine for a long time, and a lot of our team there today are soldiering for Carlow for the last 10 years or so. Very loyal to Carlow, and you know, I've had a lot of bad days in the jersey, and in the last 3 years, really, I suppose we've kind of regrouped, and we've got a very good response from all across the county, and we've more or less everybody in now with the county panel that we would expect to have in, and you know, when we get them all together, like, we've quite a good side there, and I thought, you know, there was a good feeling in Carlow for the last 2 or 3 weeks. People could sense that something was happening, and delivered it here today, like, you know, so we're very proud of them.
And is it hard for you to keep going when, you know, you don't get much success?
Well, not really, no. I think when you're in the game and you love the game, you're always dreaming of, you know, days like today and maybe getting promotion in the National Football League. And from Carlow's perspective, I suppose the National Football League is the most important competition because we've been in the basement division for forever, and we really need to get out of it, and that's been our target for the last 3 years, and we're very, very close this year to doing that. And I think if we did that, I think football in Carlow would really come on in leaps and bounds. Today showed that the guys are, you know, there's some exceptional talent out there, and they played some really, really good football, got some really good scores, and we probably could have scored 4 goals extra. Just we messed up 4 chances, that's it.
Yeah. Colin, we were remarking on the goals here. We can have a look at them maybe, but you were saying it was a great finish, wasn't it, in the first Carlow goal?
Absolutely, it was a remarkable performance. I think Carlow were full value for their win today. Danny Moran's finish here, it's an absolute bullet. He was looking at hand passing and pass, but I think he took the right option. I'd be proud of that finish myself, certainly. But they've created loads and loads of chances. And when you see a player like Brendan Murphy,
he is a player.